or fault. Couldn't find nothing wrong with it. No mistake, error, nothing. And that's the way we ought to be. Well, okay. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in it. Couldn't find nothing. They looked hard. When you envy, you want to find every detail. You looked hard to find out if you can find something wrong with them so you can go and talk about you. Then said these men, we should not find an occasion against this Daniel except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Isn't that wonderful? The only thing that you can find against a person is that they are worshiping their God. Oh, that's heaven. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said to him, King Darius, live forever. Now that's normal. Everybody say, King live forever. Then he said, all the presidents of the kingdom, the governor, the princes, the counselors, the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal stature and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now think about that. Think about that. Now, first of all, the king head is being blown up. You know how the devil works. They go in and they say all these sweet, wonderful things about you, and your head just blow up. And then you say, oh, I'm so gracious. Oh, my God, I'm precious. And the king ego is just blown up. And he says, but listen to what they did. All the king. Now, that's a lie. Now, Daniel wouldn't have agreed to that. So they lied. But the king is so blown up in his ego that he doesn't even think twice about it. Oh, they wanted to worship me. Think about it. Ask the petition. I mean, if a kid wanted to ask his mama for a piece of bread, you had to go to the king. If they wanted to pray to the priest, he couldn't. Had to go to the king. Everything that you did as a petition, you had to go to the king. Now think how the king is going to be bombarded. He can't handle all that. He couldn't even handle his own business because that's why he had the 120 princes. And now he got everybody in the kingdom coming up asking petition. Unrealistic. But you notice, they would rather suffer themselves not praying to their God in order to get Daniel from praying from his. And see, when you're envious, you don't care how you are hurt as long as the other person get hurt. I mean, that's a sad situation to be in. But unfortunately, we are there sometimes, or have been. Okay, then it said, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alters not. Now, they done got together and they done made up this decree, got it proof, that you can't change this. He making sure that he understands you can't change this. Once it's written, you can't change it. Okay, wherefore the king signed the writing and the decree, because his head was blown up. Hey, everybody gonna come to me. I'm precious. I'm honored. His king, you don't think about the results of what's going to happen. You just glorifying in the moment. You've been there. I mean, I'm sure we've been there at one time where somebody have praised us, and, you can't get hung up on that. Yes. If somebody complimented you, say thank you and move on. Hey, don't swell that head. Okay. So he signed the decree. Now 10 says, but when Daniel knew the writing was signed, he went into his house, and the window being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforehand. Now, now notice that. He knew the decree was written, but he went on and prayed as usual. He prayed towards Jerusalem. That's what Solomon said. If you get captured and you out there somewhere in the enemy land, you point when you pray, you turn towards Jerusalem and repent because we've sinned, and God will hear you and answer your prayer. So that's what he's doing. And now wonder, listen, why didn't Daniel, because, one time we couldn't pray in schools. And you can always pray. Nobody knows you're praying. So why didn't Daniel just solemnly pray? Or go somewhere else in his house and pray? Why did he do that? He wasn't going to denounce his God. Now listen, there were a lot of people looking at Daniel. Now, all these people who were, that's the reason I made the law, because they knew he was going to be praying. All right, now, what if Daniel had not prayed? Then everybody would say, see, I knew he was a coward. He wasn't what he thought he was. He ain't got no courage. It would have been misrepresenting God. Not standing there for God. They said, if you ashamed me down here, I'm going to be ashamed of you up there. And he trusted God. Yes. He wasn't worried about it. He trusted him. Trusted him. What we need to be doing. And we do in certain circumstances, but in other circumstances, we just can't give it to them. Or we give it to them and take it back. Just like Reverend Colen been telling us all the time. You give it to them and take it back because you don't really trust them to handle the situation. Isn't that pitiful? Because just like he said, God is in control. And now if he can't handle these little things that we got, my Lord. Okay, but anyway, he had too many eyes on him, so he had to stand up and be courageous. He had to be a witness for the Lord. And if he had cowed down and decided to pray somewhere else or silently, then he would not have represented. God put him there for a purpose. And his purpose was to let everybody know that you need to trust God and you need to be obedient to his word. So therefore, he had to stand and be a witness for him. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Now look at that, sneaking around, peeping in the windows, seeing, I caught him. Now we got to go tell. Because that's how you do it. When you envy somebody, you find any occasion whatsoever to tell. And then, just like work, if you can find somebody at work doing something, you don't like them, then what you do? You go run, tell the supervisor or whatever, tattletale we call it. We got tell on it. How many experience that? I'm sure we all at some point or another. Okay, then he said, then they came near and spoke before the king concerning the king's decree. Has thou not signed a decree? Like the king didn't know it. Has thou not signed a decree that every man shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered, said, the thing is true, according to the law of Medes and Persian, which altered not. See, it's true. Why y'all asking me this? Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah. See how mocking they is? That Daniel, he ain't one of us. He's from the captivity of Babylon, or Judah. So he's not one of us. Regardest not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but makest his petition 3 times a day. He's mocking you, king. He making fun of you. I know you're not going to let him get away with that. Then the king, when he heard these words, was so displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. Okay, why was he displeased? He the one made the decree. He realized that they had duped him. They had come and he loved Daniel. He loved Daniel. Which is, Nebuchadnezzar liked the boys, but he loved Daniel.
But that's why they fought.
That's exactly right.
They knew the king loved them.
Right. And they hated him because they were over them. But now, he realized what he had done. he realized these people had made a fool of him. You know, and it says that he labored. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. That means, listen, Daniel didn't say a word. You know, just like Jehoshaphat. He didn't say a word. He just prayed. And the Lord said, stand still, I'll handle this. You know, and the same thing is here. Daniel, just like the Hebrew boy, said, I don't know that he will, but I know that he can. See, I trust him. I don't have to worry about a thing. So, but the king, look at the king. I mean, he was worried. I mean, he tried to, you know, y'all don't have to do this. You know, he talked to him. He pleaded to him. He didn't want Daniel to go into the lion den. What had he really done to be put into the lion's den? I mean, it just didn't make sense, you know. But the king realized, he said, then the men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, king, that the law of the Medes, that no one, you know, can establish Greek can be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the lion dens. Okay, so even though the plea, you know, these people had taken away his authority, his executive power. He could not, now, as a king, he could have said, okay, I'm exempting Daniel. But they had taken away his executive power. He could even be king because of this decree. And then it said, now the king spake and said unto Daniel, ooh, this is powerful here. Thou God whom thou servest continuously, he will deliver thee. Now, ooh, this is a heathen king, y'all, saying the stuff that we ought to be saying. Look here, I don't know if he will, but he can. He said, I can't deliver him, but look here, you can. Oh, that's powerful. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signets of the Lord, and the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. In other words, they put the signet on the stone so that nobody would come in and nobody would come out. In other words, they couldn't do any more damage to them than it's already been in the lion den. They couldn't go in case the lion didn't take care of it. They could go in and take care of themselves because they put a signet in and you can't break the seal. Okay, then the king went to the palace and passed the night fasted. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Now look at that. Look at that. I'm telling you. It's just like Reverend Colen told us last Sunday. Look at, when you have doubt, because he did have doubt. He didn't know for sure that the Lord was going to take care of him, but he believed and trusted that he would. But he didn't know. He had that doubt. So, like he said last Sunday, when you doubt, you fast and pray. What did the king do? He fast and prayed. Oh, my goodness. He couldn't sleep. He said, don't bring me no music. I can't handle that tonight. I got to fast and pray because I need Daniel. I can't take him. I can't get him out the lion den. But your God can. Oh, fantastic. It said, then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. He couldn't wait. He didn't send a servant. He was too anxious. He had to wait. He had to go himself. He couldn't wait on a servant to go and then come back. He had to wait. He had to do it himself because he was anxious to see if the Lord had done what he couldn't. Okay, and when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice, sorrowful voice, painful, because he had doubt that this was going to happen. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then Daniel said unto the king, O king, live forever. Can you imagine the excitement? Oh, the excitement. Oh, shout time. Daniel is saved. You know, his God did what I couldn't. Oh, that's exciting. And then my God has sent an angel, just like with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Only the king saw the angel then. They didn't see him this time. It said, my God sent an angel and has shut the lion's mouth, made them into little kitty cats, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. In other words, he's saying to the king, I forgive you. Ain't no hurt on me. The angel closed the mouth. I'm good. No scratches, nothing. Just like the Hebrew boys. Nothing. Wasn't singed, clothes didn't smell like nothing. You know, I'm good. So he was real pleased. He was real pleased. But at the same time, Daniel didn't have no anger against the king for doing his job. He just forgave him. You did what you had to do. You know, that's what we do. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. See, there was a law back then where if you went through your punishment and was still alive, then you would be taken out. So Daniel was taken out of the den, and no matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which accused Daniel, and they cast them into the lions den, them, their children, and their wives. Listen, look at this. And the lion had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, and ever they came at the bottom of the den. Now look at that. Daniel was in there. They didn't bite him, scratch him, nothing. I mean, he just in there all comfortable, probably had a real good night. Because the angel was there. They were probably talking and doing whatever. But then as quick, huh?
They thought their scheme was going to work.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, I looked up this, look here, what it said. Let me see where this is, where the, what I wrote down, 15 and 16 of Psalm 7 says, he made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch which he had made. And then what we say that saying all the time. You build a pit and you fall in it right yourself because it was evil. And then, let's see, in Deuteronomy back here, I marked that. Let's see, I think it was 18, 19. Okay, it says, oh, what was it? 18, 19. It says, and the judges shall make difference in inquisition. In other words, they have an investigation. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and has testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shall thou put the evil away from among them. Oh, Deuteronomy 19, 18 and 19. See, the Lord take care of us.
Yes, he will.
Not saying that we not going to have trouble, but the Lord's going to take care of us. He said, I love that 1 Corinthians 10 and 13 where it says, everybody got all troubles common to man or something like that. But then he's going to give you the strength to go through it, or he's going to find a way out. One or the others. He's either going to give you the strength to go through it, or he's going to find a way out for you. But he's going to take care of you. He's not going to give you any more than your Holy Spirit, you can bear. So I love that, because anytime you get in trouble, you can realize God is there. All you got to do is trust him. Now, not saying that he's going to get you out of the trouble, because who got you in? But he will lead you through the trouble, or he will get you a way out of the trouble. Either way, he's going to take care of you. Like he did Daniel. That's right. He had all the protection. He had all the protection he needed. Okay. Now, but that was something. I mean, I was reading the commentary, and one of the commentaries said, because I was wondering, why did he I can understand him throwing the accusers into the lion den, because they were false witnesses. But why the wives and children and everybody else? And one of the commentaries said, well, if the lions had killed Daniel, he wouldn't have had no body. I mean, because, he'd be gone, so therefore he can't get anybody. And That's just a commentary talking though. And here, since they lied, all their extras was taken away as well.
And I think that's just like when the head is saved. We've seen instances where the man was saved or the whole house was saved.
Yeah, the man was saved and the whole house was saved. So it may be the same thing here. But you know, God said that we're not going to, the children are not going to be punished for the father sin. So in this case, they were. Because of their false witness, they, of course, were, they took the whole house, is what they did. Okay, then, but the thing, they were torn apart. That mouth was closed while he was in there, but when those false witnesses went in there, the mouth was open. It's like they were real hungry. I mean, they told them to pieces. And then King wrote unto all the people, nation, and language, and dwell into all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. Now, how do you get peace? When you trust in God. How we get peace? When we trust God. Be obedient. He gonna give you peace. You know, and that peace no man can give you. You know, where you can go to bed at night and go to sleep and don't worry about it. Because you got peace. You did the right thing during the day. Now, it said, I make a decree. Now, he's gonna get his authority back. See, when he threw those men back into the lion den, he got his authority back, which was taken away by the false accusers. Okay, the king made a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. Now, ain't that the truth? Amen. I mean, that kingdom gonna be forever, even to the ends of the earth, and afterwards. That's what we are told. He is the living God. He is not a dead owl not doing anything. He is the living God. And look at here. This is the heathen king writing this. But now look at that. Nebuchadnezzar said, y'all shouldn't speak amiss of these boys' God. Now, Darius, king, went further. He said, you need to fear and tremble before Daniel's God. Now, I didn't say that he was converted or nothing, but he sure believed because, I mean, there was idolatry everywhere back then. But he believed, and everybody in his dominion, his kingdom, you will fear and tremble Daniel's God, which is above what Nebuchadnezzar said. But now listen, it didn't go far enough. You don't just fear and tremble God. You got to trust him, love him, and worship only him. Now, he could have said, we're going to do away with these idol gods because we see right here, our idol God is nothing in compared to this living God of Daniel. But there was so much idolatry there, he wouldn't even take a step towards that. You know, but that's why I say, you know, he believed, but he didn't believe enough because he was still into the idolatry. So, almost, he was almost persuaded, just like Nebuchadnezzar. But Darius was almost persuaded, you would think, since he was saying things like the living God, his kingdom gonna last forever. You know, you would think he would almost believe. Okay, so this Daniel, now he delivered and rescued it, and he worked signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who has delivered Daniel from the power of the lion. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian, which is the next king that got, took the exiles back to Jerusalem to try to build Jerusalem back up. Now, we can't compare ourselves to Daniel. You know, everybody got a purpose. And We are sort of like the heathen king. You know, we believe in Jesus Christ and we trust him, but we have that doubt. You know, just like the heathen king did. We not like Daniel. We're like Daniel in some cases. You know, some cases we believe, we trust him, we do not doubt. But again, we need to do a lot of fasting and praying because we have a lot of doubts still. But the main thing of Daniel is that God is in control. This is a lesson for us to learn that we need to be obedient and further our faith. Now, are we going to get there? Since we're imperfect, we probably won't get to Daniel's level. I can't say that we won't, but it's a little doubtful that we're going to be at Daniel's and the Meshach, Abednego, and Shadrach. You know, that was some faith that we marvel at. And we would love to be there. But being realistically, we are imperfect beings. And on this side of glorification, we probably won't get there. But we should be striving towards perfection. Yeah.
Mr. Teacher, we can also be working on not giving in to the pressure of the
Oh,
world.
yes, yes,
You know,
yes.
when we're with our friends,
Mm-hmm,
sometimes we don't want to act like we Christians.
mm-hmm,
You know, we just can't give in to the pressure of the world.
mm-hmm.
Satan causes us to be in situations, but we can't let God down.
Right. And every time we give in, we are letting him down.
Because see, Daniel knew they had made a decree,
Right,
but he didn't let that stop him from
Right.
doing what that
Right.
last word in that verse said that he had did afore. That means he had done it, he had prayed
yeah.
like that before.
Since a youth,
That pressure stopped him.
since a youth,
Yeah.
you know, that was habitual. I mean, he did that every day.
Right.
You know, and really, we supposed to eat 3 times a day to feed the body. 3 times a day. It said, pray without ceasing. That's praying without ceasing. So, any other comments? I wanted to, go ahead. This closing thought here I thought was wonderful. It said the lesson present vital spiritual principles that enable believers to face instances of injustice and popular trend or other challenges or threat to faith and well-being, like you're talking about, Lily. You know, we face that every day, peer pressure, giving in, doing what everybody else is doing. It said, first, it is essential to maintain daily communication with God through prayer. Now, that petition for 30 days, you couldn't do that. You couldn't you couldn't have a petition. And they were willing to go 30 days from their God to make sure Daniel didn't get 30 days with his God. We need God every day. You can't just miss a day and not communicate with God. And you're going 30 days? Anyway, the second says, believers must maintain an intimate and obedient relationship with God. Obedient. Third, believers must acknowledge God's sovereignty and his control over humanity and all creation. See, God is totally in control. You know, now if we just think about that, we wouldn't have as much faith problem as we do if we remember that God is in control. I mean, everything that happens to us, he already knows. You know, he knows when and where and how. He knows all. What he say, omnipotent, omniscient, and am not present. It catch us by surprise, but it sure doesn't catch him by surprise. He knows it all. When it's coming. That's why, well, we won't get into that. Okay, 4, they must recognize that faith in God does not shed us from trouble. Instead, God supplies the grace to see his children through their problems. See, that's going back to 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, where we all got problems, but God is going to lead us through it. He's going to show us a way out, or he's going to give us the strength to go through it. And if you get nothing else out of this lesson, because it was a wonderful lesson, God is in control. We got to trust him and obey him. And if we do that, our faith will definitely increase, along with fasting and praying. That's the lesson.
I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
We want to thank Sister Maddie for an awesome lesson this morning. It is good to be back in the sanctuary. But we had a wonderful lesson this morning. On next Sunday, February the 25th, 2024, waiting and trusting is our lesson. Our devotion reading is Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 8 through 14. Our background scriptures is Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 5, and all the way read Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 1 through the end, and chapter 2, verses 1 through the end. Our printed text is Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 5. We thank you all for being with us, and we hope to see you all on next Sunday.
Amen.